On today's episode of Chit-Chat Cafe, I'm actually going to be doing a crochet tag. It's something that Deja from Heritage and Home Crochet started, and I wasn't tagged by anybody, but she just said to kind of jump in and see if we can do something for the crochet community. And there's a list of questions that you're supposed to answer. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm still working on my baby blanket. I haven't gotten much further since the last episode, but I'll see if I can manage to do anything here. So I was like 9 or 10, and I was in Germany. My parents were in the military, but anyway, I was in Germany, and a friend of my dad's wife, who was from England, she actually taught me how to crochet. She taught me how to do the single crochet and chains. These hideous, and I'm saying hideous because the only yarn that I had access to was this really ugly tan Red Heart Super Saver yarn that it felt almost like crocheting with Brillo, but I didn't care at the time because I just wanted to crochet. And my mom had bought me this this book called, yeah, I'll insert it here. I actually still have the book, and it had like patterns for doilies. So I took this number 4 chunky Red Heart Super Saver yarn and proceeded to make these doilies. These were the ugliest things ever. And I did not know how to, I made it in the round, and I did not know how to end the round. So everything I made, it was round, but it had like this little, I don't know, like a lip on it. But I made so many of them, and my mom, she is such a wonderful person. My mom is not crafty at all, but she appreciates craft, and because she appreciates craft is why she displayed all of these, again, hideous doilies around the house. I'm gonna have to say what Hetty is wearing right now, and I made this in 2020. It is a pattern from Grace for the Frills. She's an awesome designer. I love her. This is called the Brooklyn sweater, and I used an Caron anniversary cake to make this, and it's my very first garment. My very first, yeah, I believe this is my very first one. So I'm incredibly proud of it, and it fits so well. It worked out really quick because it was a really thick yarn, but yeah, I think I actually have another one that I've made with another anniversary cake, and I still have one more anniversary cake, and it'll probably end up being another sweater like this. This, it is it's from Hobie, 98% acrylic, 2% polyester. It's called Christmas Universe. Okay. I honestly never knew that these things had a name. So let's see. I can never remember which one. Knife. And when I first started crocheting, I was using a Boye hook. I didn't really care for Susan Bates, and I believe, let's see, These are my two go-to hooks. I'm gonna say it's both. I feel like this has a what do you call it? A fancy answer and then a casual answer. So my fancy answer, Frills. My casual answer, Yarnology from Hobby Lobby. I am all about the eye hook. I'm sorry, the 5.5 millimeter eye hook. Ranges? I don't know. I guess eye hook. I'm learning a lot about yarn weights. Things that I never knew before. Again, because even though somebody had taught me how to start crochet, a lot of what I have learned over the past 40 years of crocheting is that are things that I've taught myself. And forever I was always using 4-weight. It was, you know, easily accessible, and I just thought everything had to be a 4-weight. And then I found out that especially when you're making garments, and if you have to make a certain size, that it's actually better for like drape if you use smaller yarn. So I have some fingering weight yarns. I haven't tried to make garment out of that yet, but I do plan to Tunisian crochet some things out of fingering weight yarn and DK weight. That's what I'm playing with right now. So I think fingering weight is my favorite. I don't hate acrylic. I hate certain kinds of acrylic. So my favorite yarn fiber though, I do like wool, and I like cotton, but I like cotton blends, cotton acrylic blends, because they're not as rough on the hands to work with. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of exposure to, you know, many of the varying yarn weights, yarn fibers, so I can only go with what I know. So again, I like wool, I like wool blends, and I like cotton blends, and I don't hate acrylic. Definitely shawls. I don't know why. They're like my palette cleanser for the most part. I don't even wear a lot of shawls. Most of the ones that I have made, I have gifted, but it's my comfort project. Always is the shawl. Oh, I have yet to make shorts. I've seen a lot of well, crocheted and knit shorts this summer. Not really in a hurry to make that something that I would really. I've never made a cowl. Yeah, I've never made a cowl. It's funny when it comes to colors, and I think I had mentioned this before. I always tended to gravitate toward bright colors like spring colors, peach or mint, yellow, orange even. But as of late, it seems like I'm more into the grays and sage green and darker colors. I don't know. And I know that many people have the same issue, but because I have ADHD, my brain is always going a mile a minute, and that is especially true when I'm crocheting. So I would be working on a project and then get bored with it, put it in a bag and pick up something else. And then when I, got interested in the previous project, I'd pick it up, but I would not know what hook I was using or anything like that. So I came up with this idea. I took your regular old stitch marker, some alphabet beads. I got these on sale. They were on clearance for $2.50 because some of the beads were missing. I didn't need a whole lot. Anyway, and then, so I took oh Lord, you can't see this. This isn't the letter H. So I slid the bead onto the stitch marker. And now when I start a project, I put this in there at the base, at the very, like on the first row or so. So that way, when I set it down and put it away, which is going to happen, I'll at least remember what size hook I used. And I just keep all of my different stitch marker hook markers on this little rubber band, and I keep it in my project bag, and it helps a lot. I love seeing crochet in the mainstream. I genuinely do. It is helping to get rid of the "that's only for grandmas" or "old people do that." And I love seeing, especially young people making things. It is very encouraging because they are making things that we never really thought always that could be crocheted. We just haven't. So I love that. What I don't love is seeing it in retail, because I already know that the price that they sell it at is definitely way less than what we as crocheters, if we were selling our projects, it's going to cut into that immediately, because if you, like this sweater, okay, I don't remember how long it took me to make. I don't remember any of that, but if I was going to sell this sweater, it would sell for no less than $50. But if you walk into Walmart and saw a crocheted sweater that looked similar to this, they could probably sell it for $29.95, and most people would opt for the Walmart one. Because as consumers, it's so interesting, because it's like, as a consumer and as a maker, you're almost divided, because this is something that I learned when I was running my previous business, which was, I personally am not my customer base. Like, I didn't make items to sell to people like me, because people like me would look at something and say, oh, I can make that myself. So I am not my own customer. I hope that makes sense. So in saying that, looking at people who go to Walmart or, insert store name here, and they buy a crocheted item as opposed to buying it from me, it hurts. But at the same time, again, as a consumer, I understand, because you're looking at the bottom line. There are those people who have such a true appreciation for handmade items that they would pay the $50+ for a handmade garment versus paying for one from a big box store. And on the flip side of that is that the people who made the big box store version of it, again, they did the exact same things that I did to make the sweater, but they're not getting compensated anywhere close to the you know, again, the amount that I would want for that item. So it's, again, it's a give and take, but it makes me sad because, yeah. So as far as people making their own clothes, awesome. People making their own hats, their own sweaters, everything. Making something yourself, I absolutely 100% support that. It's just when the big box stores get in on it, I feel like it hurts everybody. I'm gonna pick Grace for the frills. She's Australian. I believe she's Australian. I have made several of her patterns, and my husband, who has, I mean, we've been married for 23 years, and last year at the end of November, he asked me to make him a sweater, a cardigan, which is the first time he's ever asked me to make him something like that. So I was beyond thrilled. And I used this pattern. I hacked it because I needed to adjust the sizing a bit. But he loves it. And yeah. So, and again, this pattern here that Hedy is wearing was also a Grace for the Frills design. A Tunisian crocheted top, maybe like a tank top, or at least like maybe a t-shirt. And I'm trying to teach myself these things because, like, I don't overly care for the Tunisian crochet in the round, even though it's weird. I don't have a problem doing it, I just don't like it. So I want to make myself a t-shirt or a tank top in the round. I mean, what am I talking about? I want to make myself a Tunisian crocheted tank top or tee. I recommend using a plain, no frills, no frou-frou yarn, number 4 weight. It's plain, and get yourself a plain generic hook. You don't need one that lights up. You don't necessarily even need an ergonomic one. However, again, at Hobby Lobby, the Yarnology ones, like, I think it's $3. So get yourself a hook, a skein of 4 weight yarn, and try making something like a scarf. Or no, you know what? I take that back. Find yourself something that you really, really want to make. I'm not going to tell you to start with a scarf. I'm not going to tell you to start with a hat, because that can actually be discouraging. Make whatever you want to make, but don't spend a lot on it, because you can get inexpensive soft yarn, and it'll probably most likely be acrylic, which is fine. So don't spend a lot of money on your yarn. Find a free pattern if possible. Find tutorials. YouTube is an amazing place to learn how to do just about everything. Some tutorials that I like: Bag a Day crochet tutorials. I like Tony Lipsy TL Yarn Crafts tutorials. Those are the only 2 that pop into my head right now. But make what you want to make. Just don't spend a lot on the very first item, just in case you don't like it. Okay, that was fun. That was fun. Yeah, okay. I am trying to think of who I'd like to tag next. You know what? I want to tag Setta of Setta's Place and Emily of Crochet Creation. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Chit Chat Cafe. I look forward to seeing you next week. Until next time, I have been Jackie.